This has to be one of the most interesting learning curve jobs, throw you in the deep end jobs I did. So this job was Rexford, and it's Beverly Hills adjacent. This is a really Jewish neighborhood, but it's not Beverly Hills. And literally it's right next to all the glat markets and food stuff. It's a very Jewish neighborhood. So we're building this building here. Wow, I can't even remember how many units it is. I think it's 23 units if I remember correctly. And these are condos. These are big condos too. They're like 2,000, 2,200 square feet. And the whole reason behind that was the owner said, hey, we're going to build the maximum square feet, but we're only going to put one layer of parking. So, how many parking spots dictates how many units you can get. And we left it to the architect. Now, this architect, he's awesome. This guy's, at the time, everybody's building in LA. And this guy is friends with people. He's putting so many projects through Van Nuys that he's got it down. He's just whipping them out. So he puts this project together for the owner. We go out and we're about to start digging and laying pile down into the ground. So when we do that, we bring out the surveyor, and the surveyor informs us that the building is 12 feet too big. It actually goes to the middle of the alley behind us. So somehow the civil and everybody got the plot plan mixed up and the dimensions wrong, and the architect had built it to those dimensions. So we informed the architect what's going on. He's like, no problem, I'll take care of it. So he literally turns the whole thing around in I think a week. Gives us a new set of plans. Of course, everything's changed, but we haven't really even dug the holes yet. We still know where the perimeter of the building goes. We're starting to put pile in the ground, and he's redesigning the building. He's taken 12 and a half feet off the entire length of the back of the building. In order to do this, obviously, we also lost parking spaces, and this affects everything. So we ended up having to add one guest spot outside the building in the alley on the south side of the building. Then now there's an alley, and right on the other side of the alley is all these commercial glat markets and food courts and stuff. It's a very busy place. So I'm project managing this, but I have projects in Carpinteria, Agora Hills, and in Koreatown. They're all starting or they're going at the same time. I don't remember the exact timing. So we did end up hiring a guy for a little bit, and he was a friend of my plumber. Now, on these jobs, I met lifelong friends and some of the greatest tradesmen you'll ever meet. This job in particular is where I met Tony B. Tony B is pretty much the biggest non union concrete contractor around. In fact, I remember when I was in the union, there would be union meetings about this guy and how much he was their biggest competition. So anyhow, he also comes with another reputation is he'll sock you in a heartbeat. He's an MMA fighter, takes no bullshit, will yell and scream at you right there on the spot. So anyhow, sounds like my kind of guy. And we hit it off. We are two peas in a pod. And his guys are great. His guy comes out, Tony, who's, Latino, and these guys just blow it out. I mean, they come and they don't fuck around and they get to it. So we get everything worked out with the new plans. Everybody's on board. We start. He also brings. Well, actually, here the walls were all shotcrete, so we shotcreted the walls ourselves, and then Tony took over from there. And my plumber here was young Zorab. He was great. He's the best. And so I'm running all this other work, and he introduced me to his friend. I forget his name, and I put him on the job as the superintendent or whatever. And he seems to know what he's doing, but this guy has all ulterior motives. He's of that Persian persuasion or whatever, and he's looking to get kickbacks. I mean, it's obvious because I'm pricing things out. I've already priced stuff out. He's bringing me guys. His guys are marked up an X amount of dollars, and it's just so we're not jiving well. And I'm an asshole, so there's that. So I end up just running the job. I'm still project managing the other jobs, but every morning I'm showing up here. I also have my helper. Oh man, Emerson. Now Emerson, he don't know shit. He's an old man, but he's fucking got heart, and he's my fucking most loyal guy. I trust this guy implicitly. In fact, he's old, but he still works his ass off, and he also runs a drug treatment house, and he won't do nothing without calling me. Perfect guy. So he pretty much looks after the job when I'm not there. So anyhow, back to the project. We're doing the concrete. Everything's going well. Now we're ready for the framer, and so I'm sort of involved, but I'm not. The owner's totally involved in this, and they bring me this framer. I forget his name, but this dude's not doing well. I mean, he's got no money. He's really got no crew. In fact, what he's just going to do is he's just going to skim a little bit off the top and piece it out to this Mexican crew. So whatever, we're on the job. The plumber's doing great. The concrete's doing great. The electrician, he's right on top of it, and he fits right in. He's on all our projects, and so we're moving right along. And the framer comes along now. He's just trouble from the start. He's got no money. He's got no guys. Blah blah blah. And now we're into framing completely. Someone's got to come out, snap the deck. We pour the concrete, and now framing's going for real. But he's nowhere to be seen. He can't get me fucking guys. He's crying about money. Blah blah blah. And we finally get a crew out there, and things are good. The crew's pretty good. I mean, they're moving along and stuff, but they're bitching and moaning all the time, and I'm supposed to have some other guy out there running the work, and then we start hearing problems with payroll, oh, he's not giving us money, blah, blah, blah. So we me and the owner, we're like it's a team effort out here, you know what I mean? So bam, we give him money, we get reimbursed, or the owner gets reimbursed from the bank, and we're moving right along. But it keeps happening, and now we're kind of locked in with dude on our other projects too, and these are big projects, and I'm like, fuck. So I find out what the fucking situation is. Yeah, essentially, they're a Mexican crew. They get paid cash. He runs the billing through his legit company with the bank and everything, signs a release. We give him the check. He cashes the check and he pays the crew. Except he's not paying. I forget the whatever happened, but it turned out we just said, hey, look, we'll just buy out your contract. And we told the bank we're self-performing the framing, and we just started paying Jose's crew cash. And we worked it out to, I think we just gave them $7 or whatever it was a square foot for the entire building, and they did all the work, and we paid the cash. Now, at that time, so that's how I met Jose. Now, so we're in. I got a concrete. I got plumbing, I got electrical. I've got a fucking pretty kick-ass crew, and I'm like overseeing everything through all this. But back to Rexford. So Rexford gets going, bam, we get the framing going, and things are fucking moving right along. In fact, I'm blowing away projects down the street. Like I did this project with all these mistakes, was completed in 14 months. And that's pretty damn good. But this is also the time when so we get to it, and don't forget there's other things going on. We have to move that telephone pole 2 feet, and it costs us like $70,000 having to come out and move that pole and to get power and stuff. And now, but everything's going well. So we go to start, like all of our like street work, and these are the stuff that has to be done per the city. Like it has nothing to do with the plans, but we need to repave. We need to put a new swale and stuff in the alleys, and don't forget all this is going on right next to this Galat Jewish market center. That's always busy. It's always busy. So we're moving along on that, and me personally, I get on, and because we're doing this ourselves. Some of it we're self-performing, then we'll just call in a paver, blah blah blah. The concrete swales in, and we go to start grading for the asphalt. Now they changed the elevations. We had the swell. This is all going on. And there's all this commercial shit just 15 feet away. I'm sure there was tanks and separators and all kinds of stuff in that alley. And I am grading on a grader, and I'm taking half an inch, and right there, 2 inches down, is a gas main. And these are just plastic little things, and I nicked it. And this is high pressure before it steps down into the building. Commercial like 2 inch line. So bam, it's fucking pumping, and I call the fire department, bam, and they come in, and nothing happens. We get it all shut down. Everything's cool. And then an hour later, I did it again. Fuck. So that's going on. We get that taken care of. We get everything back into the so here's where I learned lessons. I was probably arrogant too, but so the plans we had these big French doors, and on the plans, and the owner was pretty specific about it. And these doors on the plans opened up into that good sized balcony. It was like a 4 foot balcony or whatever it was. And we were ordering from Milgard, and when the windows came, I installed it backwards or whatever, because I installed it per the plan, but they were sent out per the manufacturer for and I didn't even look. I'm a framer, remind you guys. And that the thresholds were backwards essentially. So they opened out, or they opened in. I forget which way it was, but it was a problem, and it ended up being a problem throughout the history of the building. So so the stucco guys come in, and these guys are not cheap. And stucco's a weird fucking thing, man. Like, you'll get a bids for this building were $100,000 difference between the highest and the lowest. So I ended up going with the guys in the middle. I forget who they were, but fucking, they were idiots. And as far as like, putting paper and stuff like that, and they were okay, but when it came to anything that required you to pull out your tape or custom or anything, oh man, and there was a lot of foam on this building. Original plans had the balconies out in the front with these arches in between, and they were small arches, like 16-inch arches or whatever, all foam. It was just a lot of work. And then there was all this other detailing in the front that they kept fucking up, and I had to keep having them fix it. And then when they came out and they sprayed, I mean, they got more, there was more fucking cleanup than they got on the walls. I mean, literally, there was, and some of these pictures will show it. There was just piles and piles of fucking, I forget the name of it, overspill or whatever it was. And they don't clean it up. You have to clean it up. I mean, I literally had to fucking get a crane out there and lift that shit out. And it cost me a lot of money. And these guys were just terrible. And, well, of course, I didn't end up using them again. In fact, I found a guy that I'll learn you about on other jobs coming up. So anyhow, we finally get fucking everything done. The building's coming together. The issue with the doors, I still fucked up. I didn't really fix it. I think I just had them reverse the threshold, which doesn't work, and voided the warranty. Just remember, we had a special relationship with Milgard. You know, I mean, these are big, huge jobs. I mean, when you're ordering hundreds of thousands of dollars of windows and doors, you know, and we had our own salesman. And Milgard's great, by the way. They're the best for customer service, callback, warranty service. They will fucking take care of their product. I'll give them 100% credit. And the fuck up here was my fault. So anyhow, the building comes together. You know, I mean, this building's specifically set up for Jewish galat kind of living. We have room for 2 fridges and freezers. I think there was double sinks in the kitchen to keep all their meat and cheese separate and stuff like that. And it went well. I think he got I think we averaged $1 million and above a unit. Like the top units on the 4th floor were like 1.5. And he hit the market perfect. The problem was one of the units was bought by a Jewish lawyer, of course. And then he became like head of the HOA. Every one of these are condos, so they have an HOA. Now, just like everything at the time, that guy just went immediately to a lawsuit. And so they call me out. And they're like, go talk to this guy, go see what it is, because there was a law that says they have to like go through this process of giving the builder a chance first. So the guy calls me out. I go out there and I'm like, okay, what's the issue here? And he tells me that he thinks he's a construction expert, but I could tell he's not. He's just reading the law and he thinks he's smarter than me. And so I go out there and he tells me, oh, my floor is out of spec. And so I bring a 10-foot level and I say, this is, a ASTM standard, because this is all lightweight concrete on here. There's an 1.5 inches of lightweight, and that's how you get your 1 hour rating on your floors, blah, blah, blah. So, and the ASTM standard is a 1/4 inch and 10 foot. So if you put down a straight edge that's 10 foot, you can't have any divots more than a 1/4 inch. So I do that. We go around the unit and I show the guy this is totally within spec. Anything else. And I remember there was something else, but essentially I just proved that one too, told him what the code was. Oh, it had something to do with the new code. Oh no, this is coming up. So I leave, there's nothing for us to repair or for me to send a guy to do anything. And then the next thing I know, I get a call saying, oh, you got to come. My unit flooded because of the washer dryer because you didn't put in a drain per the code. Now, the problem was so this building was under a 2000 code, and there was a new code that had come out recently in 2005 or whatever, was adopted in LA. But this building itself wasn't built under that code. It was built under the 2005 code, and it didn't require an individual floor drain in every washer dryer room. So this guy, essentially what he did is he pulled out his the drain for his washer dryer, and he flooded his unit, and then said it's our fault. And when I told him that, he was really pissed off. Now, there was some other stuff, like there's some pictures in here. You'll see some cracked concrete and a block and there was some structural issues that they brought up. And of course, they went and tore everybody's unit apart looking for defects. Of course, the door thing came up, and but they did more damage to the unit than they could find in defects. And I'm not sure really where it all ended up, because it all went to court. The owner filed bankruptcy, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It was none of my business, and I didn't really want to ask how it ended. But that's where I left it. And it was still, I'm very proud of this building, with all the troubles and everything I learned. And essentially, I was still kind of a rookie. I had completed other jobs. I did big commercial stuff, but I hadn't project managed and superintended the job all the way through, and couldn't have done it without the owner. The owner was he's just cool as fuck, and just so much common sense. It was a pleasure working with him. Well, I think that's all I got. Oh yeah, there's a few other things in this project that were unique. So also at this time they started making us do filtration. You couldn't just have water run from your area drains to the curb and out to the street. It had to be filtered. So you'll notice boxes in a couple of these, and those are downspout filters. And that was an idea I'm pretty proud of that I came up through to meet the code for this. Also, there was a problem with the city where we almost didn't get past, because I had eliminated all that foam arches and stuff, and I did the exposed beams on the outside. And the city said I couldn't do that because I wasn't meeting fire code, that it had to be treated in 1 hour. But I argued that those were full dimension beams, which meet the 1 hour code and the intent of the code. In fact, there was another site code in there about the fire code about that, as long as it was sprinklered, and there is sprinklers there. So that held us up for a minute from getting a C of O, but after that, bam, we got C of O. You'll also notice I take a lot of pictures of fucking messes, and I'm kind of anal about my jobs, and this is so I can bitch at them later. Those are your guys, that's your mess, or that's your mess. When I have to go clean it myself, I would back charge you. Kind of anal about it, and kind of not. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But that's why you see pictures like that. Also pictures that I think might come up in a lawsuit later. So a lot of mistakes, a lot of mess, but still work to be proud of.